Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 6:30 on Saturday the 19th of December. Almost didn't come today with the weather we had overnight, but finally we are on our way down to the land. As always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land, and the only reason you can see me is because I've got the flash on the camera. Everything else is in complete darkness, so pointless doing a video across the field today. I'll catch up with you when I get in the cabin. Well, it's still pitch black across the field. You can't see the car even. I'm just down at the polytunnel and I'm busy unloading wood into the polytunnel. I'll get this job out the way while it's still dark, because I can't do anything just yet in the cabin. I'd rather get this out the way before the rain comes back, because it has been chucking it down, and I'll tell you about that later. But for now, I'm just moving wood from the car to the polytunnel in the dark. Well, it's just starting to get light. Thankfully, it's not raining right now, so I've just been moving lots of goodies from the car across to the cabin in the polytunnel. Biggest of which are these. These are called pallet collars. I'll pull one out shortly into the garden room and you can see what the idea is with those, but I had those on the roof rack of the car yesterday, and the wind and the rain was shocking, and trying to maintain a fairly decent speed without going too fast that it would rip them off the roof was a bit of a challenge. And there were a few shall we say bum clenching moments as large trucks flew past me on the road. You can see the smoke there from the wood burning stove. I've got that fire going. Hopefully by the time I get in the cabin again, it'll be a decent little blaze. A few of the little bits and pieces, well, actually big bits and pieces in the cabin. There's a bag full of stuff just sat there in the cabin waiting to come out, but the exciting bits are these boxes. The small one, let's see if I get a light in here because it's a bit dark still. Well, apologies for that. I fumbled around with the light switch and turned the camera off. So, and I noticed when I reviewed the video after my little cabin chat. So I'm inserting this. The smaller box is a 12 volt 110 amp hour battery, and the bigger box is a 100 watt solar panel. The exciting news, I guess, is that the heater pipes finally arrived, so they'll definitely be going on once I've sorted myself out. So I'll pop this little clip in just for the sake of continuity, just before the cabin chat. So again, apologies for that. Well, here we are in the cabin again. I don't know if you'll see or not, but the fire is blazing, so that's nice. It does make a difference from the cold and wet outside. It's just now getting light enough, thankfully, to do the video and to sit for 5 minutes with a cup of coffee and get warmed up. It It was absolutely shocking yesterday. The wind and the rain pretty much all day, and then towards the end of the day, kind of late afternoon, early evening, wind really did pick up. I managed to get 12 of those pallet collars and loaded those on the roof rack of the car. I'm not a trucker with a T, and it was interesting trying to strap that onto the roof. A little bit of overkill, I think, with the number of straps, but given the wind, the rain, the speed that you have to try to maintain so that you're not causing a huge tailback of irate drivers behind you. So it was an interesting drive home. What would that be? That would be about 40-45 minutes. Well, on a normal day it should be 40-45 minutes, so with all that on the roof and going slower, it's probably close to an hour or just over. But anyway, they're here, which is the main thing. Got quite a few bits and pieces today. I showed you the battery and the panel earlier. They're just sat in the garden room waiting me to unbox. Do you really want to see an unboxing of the battery and the panel? I don't know. You'll see them at some point today, because the battery for sure is going into the electric cabinet. If you watch my videos for a while, you'll know there are 2 in there right now, and I'm going to string that in to the system, so I'll have 3. The panel, again, I've got 2 100-watt panels on the roof outside, so that'll give me another 100 watts. But it isn't as straightforward as it might seem. I'm climbing up on the roof. I've got to lay some support battens on, and then link that panel into the other 2 panels. So that's going to be interesting. Whether it'll get done this weekend, I honestly don't know. Right now it's not raining, but it is forecast for the whole weekend, so I don't really want to be on the roof messing about, trying to connect up electric if it's chucking it down with rain. But we'll see anyway how we get on this weekend. I have got holidays coming up over Christmas, so worst case scenario, it gets done during the holiday. Sod's Law says, or Murphy's Law says, when I start dismantling the panels that are out there, I'll find that I'm a cable short or I'm a cable missing. There'll be something, I guarantee. It will not be as simple as you think it's going to be, because it never is. Pipes came for the diesel heater, so that's good. They will absolutely be going on, probably first job after I've had this coffee. And I'll have a little play with those pallet collars in the garden room, just to kind of measure up and see how they might fit as raised beds in the garden room. My fingers are just now nicely starting to warm through after being outside in the cold and wet, humping stuff across the field. What do we want to talk about this morning? Here in the UK, as we approach Christmas, total chaos with this medical crisis we've got going on. You might remember, you'll know if you're in the UK, we've been in and out of various mini lockdowns. They call them tiers of different levels of restriction. Quite sizable chunks of the UK went into the highest tier a couple of weeks ago. Bit of controversy why London didn't. They're far too good in London to be locked down, surely, sir. But yeah, predictably, They're now moving into the highest tier because the COVID, I've said that word now, damn it. The infection rates have skyrocketed as everybody just went about their normal business, which is essentially what people around the UK have been doing. Not everybody, but substantial numbers, enough to make the caseload skyrocket. We've been promised a 5-day reprieve over Christmas so that everybody can go out and get infected. You couldn't make it up, could you? However, having said that, out of the 4 home countries, 2 of them, Northern Ireland and Wales, have said, do you know what? We need to go into a full, complete lockdown immediately after Christmas, and by that they mean Christmas Day. So 27th, 28th, they're going back into full lockdown. It's inevitable that we were going to go into a lockdown anyway across the whole of the UK. But of course now there's mounting pressure for a shutdown in the other 2 countries, England and Scotland. And there's lots of talk about, oh, cancel Christmas, it's too dangerous. So who knows what is going to happen. What I can predict with an element of certainty is that New Year's cancelled, or the traditional New Year's celebrations are going to be cancelled. There's no way that they're going to have public firework displays as they usually do on New Year's Eve. Having said that, of course, people being people, I think vast numbers will just do their own thing, because they have been during the lockdowns. There's been street parties and raves and all kinds of stuff going on. So nobody should be surprised when we get a 3rd wave of this infection. To be honest, I would say we're already in it, looking at the numbers. But hey. So yeah, lots of chaos as we end this year and head in towards next. So with that in mind, do keep on top of your preps, keep topping stuff up, because with the additional potential chaos of Brexit, and there are a lot of people who will deliberately make it their business to create as much chaos as possible come the 31st of December when we finally transit out of the European Union. I guarantee there'll be chaos, because too many people have a vested interest in deliberately causing chaos so they can turn around and say, oh, you see, told you so, Brexit was a terrible idea, let's all forget it and go back to the EU and beg forgiveness. Or is that me being cynical? So yeah, the infection and medical crisis rumbles on. What's also interesting, if you remember the live stream I did last week, I was talking about predictions for 2021. I mentioned cyber warfare, and guess what? If you've been watching the news over the last couple of days, you'll have seen there's been a massive cyber attack in the US. There's been lots of little ones in different countries, but there's been a huge one in the US, and the people behind the attack have managed to get into lots of big business and, more importantly, I guess, government departments, including the agency that's in charge of all of the nukes, the nuclear weapons. It was only a matter of time before this started to get out into the public, because it has been going on for a long time. Western countries have been doing this themselves for years. Cast your mind back, I don't know how many years ago it is now, got to be 8 or 9 years, maybe more. And the Americans and the Israelis were busy cyber attacking the nuclear program in Iran. So yeah, this isn't something new, it's just something that's become more sophisticated, and the capabilities have grown as everything in the entire world has plugged itself into the internet. So it is a matter of time before we start to see bigger cases of, because we have seen them already, but we start to see bigger cases of telephones going down, utilities going down, banks going down, and God forbid the mains electric grid going down. That would be end of the world as we know it scenario if that happened within days. So if you're going to do New Year resolutions for 2021, I would say, and I've got an example sat in the garden room right now, I'd say consider your alternative energy supply. No matter how small it is, even if it's just enough to keep your fridge going. If you haven't looked at it already, please do take a look at it, because it's only a matter of time before we see some real chaos that affects people rather than government agencies. So yeah, who knows what 2021 is going to bring. The key really is to do what you can to minimise the impact on yourself. I don't know if you can hear that or not. The rain started. Damn it, well, I didn't want that. Not this early anyway. So yeah, if you're not prepping, start. If you are prepping, it's maybe time to re-examine what you have and step up a gear or branch out into areas that you might not have looked at, such as alternative energy. Jobs in the cabin, plenty to keep me occupied over the weekend, that's for sure. As we're heading towards Christmas, I will be doing another live stream. Not quite sure when that will be. So if there's any topics that you want me to cover in the live stream, or indeed in a normal video, do let me know in the comments section. I am here to continue my prepping journey and build up my resilience, but I am also here to try and help you in the community with your prepping journey. So if there's anything that you do want me to cover, do let me know. I'm conscious that quite a few people that visit the channel are what you would kind of call more advanced preppers. There are certainly people that view the channel that have homesteads, off-grid homesteads as well, in the US, Australia and here in the UK. So please, don't be shy. Get your comments banged into the comment section on the video with things that you're doing, things that you're thinking about, things that I might not have mentioned or covered in my videos. The whole idea of the channel really is to have that community and to share knowledge. So anybody who does have knowledge that they would like to share, please do help everybody else that visits the channel by popping those thoughts, ideas, suggestions, tips into the comment section. Anyway, I'm going to have to pop some more wood on the fire, I think. Ow, that's a bit warm. And keep that going. I'm going to finish this coffee off, and now that we have got full fat daylight, I'll get something done. I will try and take as many clips as I can as I go along so that you can follow the journey with me. But I am only human. As I launch myself into these little jobs, it is quite easy for me to forget. So please do forgive me if I miss any bits out, but I'll try and capture as much of the journey as I can today and indeed tomorrow. I'm hoping that tomorrow I might get some more wood. I'm trying to take advantage now while it is still around, though it is hard to find, even more so hard to find at reasonable prices. But I'm starting now to think ahead for 2021 and try and build up some stocks, because one of the projects I will want to be launching early in the new year is chickens, and hopefully come spring get some bees down here, so there will be some construction required before both of those can happen, hence the stocking up of wood. So there is lots to look forward to as we head into the new year, but as always I'll try and document everything for you as I go along. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please do stay safe and have a great weekend, and I'll catch up with you later on in the video. I've just thrown another couple of bits of larger wood onto that fire just to keep it going, and we'll get cracking now with a bit of work. Apologies for the the continuity fail earlier while I was fumbling around in the dark here, but hopefully it makes sense as you view the final edit. So I'm going to get these heater pipes out and measure up. They just clip onto the bottom of the diesel heater itself, and then the pipes will run out. I'll need to drill some holes in this back wall to get the exhaust and the air intake out of the cabin itself, which, as with everything, won't be as easy as it sounds. So I'll have to pull quite a bit of this stuff out. Battery box will come out, cables will come out, until I've decided where the exhaust pipes go in. And I'll just need to be careful, obviously, to make sure I don't have any of those cables too close to the exhaust. It shouldn't cause an issue really, because alright, it will get a bit warm, certainly if you stuck your hand on it after it had been running for a while, but until I actually start doing it I won't really know where stuff's going to go. But I'll keep you posted as I go along, and I'll try and take as many clips as I can. Just thought I'd quickly share this with you. In the cabin it's 16 degrees, so centigrade that is, 60 Fahrenheit, which, to be fair, considering I've got the cabin door and the garden room door open and it's bloody chilly outside, that's not bad. I'm just trying to clear out the garden room, make some space, so I've just temporarily stuck the battery box out here on the portable solar panel. That's the beauty of this panel really. You can just literally pick it up and stick it anywhere and it'll quite happily sit there doing its thing while I crack on tidying up the disaster area that is the garden room, so I can actually free some space up and get some stuff done. Still a few bits and pieces to go. Once I've cleared out and I've got some more space, I'll unbox those so you can see the battery in the panel, and also it'll clear some space so I can work on this diesel heater cabinet. Anyway, less talk, more action. I'll keep you posted. There's not much exciting about this, but I'll show you it anyway. Battery's a battery after all. The key thing with the solar is to make sure that your batteries are all the same in terms of power outage, or power output I should say. We don't want an outage. Well, this is extremely well packed. There we go. These might come in useful as a bit of extra insulation for the batteries. So there we go. It's got some nice little carry handles on here just to help you. it is. As I say, nothing dramatic. 12 volt, 110 amp hours. It's the same size, a low height as the other batteries I've got. Some straight terminals on there for the battery clamps to sit on. Completely sealed unit, so you don't need to do any maintenance with it. There's a little side plug here, if you can see that or not. When you transport the batteries, there's like a little safety device on the end here. There you go, a little bung that you just need to take out. Same on this side. I don't know if you'll see it or not. I guess I'll find out on the edit. There's just a little bung that they use for transporting these. So you've now got air going in. And that's it. So at some point today, that's going to go in the electric cabinet, just to add a bit more oomph to my battery storage. So you've seen the battery, I may as well show you this as well. I'll just pop this down on the floor. I'm assuming you can see that. Yeah, you can, more or less. So we'll just quickly run round that and get it opened up. And there we go. That's the solar panel. I'm assuming you can see that. There's no great mystery to this. Literally all it is, power from the solar cells on the other side feeds into this distribution box. There's a little relay in there to stop back charge, and you've got two. These are actually solar cables. They've got a specific designed connection port, male and female, on the end of the cable for positive and negative. So at some point that will be joining the other two on the roof, and that will give me a little bit more solar collection capacity from the panels, and more importantly, I guess, for when there is no sun, which there's a distinct lack of this last few months, a bit more capacity on my power storage from the batteries. Well, I did promise you a look at those pallet collars, so I've just dragged a couple in from the polytunnel. And the great thing about these, well, one of many great things about these, clearly they're all standard size, they just unfold. You've got 4 sheets of really decent sized wood which have hinges on. You might have seen these if you remember a previous video out in the garden, because I've got a couple of these outside which are acting as raised beds, but essentially all you're doing is you're popping these in along the side of the existing structure, and you've got an instant raised bed. The only thing you need to think about really is which way round do they go. And the additional bonus, apart from the fact that they're designed to be out in the weather, so it's treated timber, if you get another one and open it up, you see the metal corners on them. Well, they're designed to interlock, so you can stack them one on top of the other. Or you could if you weren't trying to do it single-handed. that slots in there, slots in there, that slots in there, and in there. And we've now got a really decent sized raised bed. Might even be too big actually. So yeah, at some point I'll experiment with these to figure out where exactly they can go to make a nice raised bed all the way around. And then I've got my paving slabs. I'll experiment with those just to see where I'm going to have a little hard standing area somewhere in the middle, maybe to sit on my comfy chair, have my coffee and look out. Hopefully when we get rid of this weather you'll actually be able to look out and it won't be covered in condensation. So anyway, that's that raised bed idea, using these pre-made pallet collars. I can clearly trim them to fit wherever gaps I might have, but it'll save me an awful lot of heartache, and it is really good timber. That timber's so good in fact that I could dismantle these and use the timber for other little construction projects, maybe the chicken coop, who knows. Anyway, I digress. I've got to get cracking and get some actual work done rather than just talking to you all day. Well, I'll get cracking with these pipes. I'll just show you what's in each of the bag before I actually start. I'm trying not to destroy the bag, but I've got a feeling frustration will get the better of me and I'll end up destroying it. Got to think about recycling, guys. At some point I might want a plastic bag that size, so it'd be a shame just to rip it open. There you go, bit of patience. So what have we got inside? We've got the pipe itself, and then we've got a couple of clamps, just straightforward Jubilee clips. I have actually got a really nice clamp from the original fitting on there, which I might use instead of these. But essentially this is it. It's a stainless steel flexible pipe. You can bend it out to whatever shape you want. There's 2 meters worth of piping. Just be careful when you're straightening these out because you don't want to split the actual joint. But that's what we've got. That just drops on the bottom of the heater, bended to fit, and then it runs straight out into the side wall of the cabin. So that's what I'll be doing for the next hour or so, I guess, is trying to figure out how to route that through the wall. And then once I've done that, I'll give it a quick test fire just to see make sure it all works, and then we'll start boxing in the front of this this cabinet. Well, I'm just test fitting that first pipe. I've got it mounted onto the exhaust. Just needs tightening up on the clamps. You can see the second pipe coming out, or second vent coming out of the bottom of the heater for the air intake pipe. So that just runs along now, along that cabinet, and then it pops out through a little hole to the outside. So 1 down, 1 to go. It is a bit fiddly, this, and those pipes, trying to manoeuvre those and bend them in the right place to go through the hole outside is not easy. Bit of swearing involved, I'm afraid. Well, that's the heater pipes in. You can see those coming under there. Just being careful to keep this diesel hose away from the exhaust pipe, and they just run down and out the back through a couple of holes. I'll just have to put a bit of lagging around where they go through the wood itself, but I don't think there's going to be that much heat reaching the outer wall. Battery's back in place, so I'll just quickly nip in and flick the switch on. So we've got power, and we'll just let that run for a few minutes and see how we get on. Well, that's the burner just kicked in, and you can hear the oil pump or the diesel pump clicking away. So we'll just let that run for a few minutes. I can keep popping outside just to make sure that I've got no issues with the exhaust or the air intake. It's just winding away. I'll check back in a couple of minutes once the burner's fired up and we've got hot air coming out in the cabin, hopefully. Well, that's the exhaust doing exactly what it should do. If you can see the smoke or not, yeah, you can. So it's putting the fumes outside. That smoke will disappear in a while. The only reason that it's smoking now is A, because the heat has been moved around and there'll be a bit of diesel loose inside the heater that just wants burning off, but also it's blowing hot air out onto the wet ground. So a lot of that will be steam. Well, everything here seems to be going as it should be. That pipe is hot, but you can see I've routed everything away from it, and I've actually mounted it on the air intake pipe just to keep it off this wooden base. I'll just have to keep my eye on this to make sure that everything is okay. I mean, that's not hot at all. And as an extra precaution, where the exhaust comes outside, I've just cut down some lengths of breeze block just to keep it off the plastic panels, just a bit of insulation. I don't think it would damage the panels. I mean, that is warm where I've got my hand, but the breeze block isn't. Might be a bit overcautious, I don't know, but I'd rather be too cautious than not cautious enough. Just take a quick look in the cabin. This ground is getting so chewed up with me walking around. It's so wet. You can probably hear it under my feet, actually. But yeah, everything for the diesel heater cabinet is fine. And yeah, that's really nice and hot, that. Really nice and hot. I'll just turn that away a little bit. Yeah, that's better. So, diesel heater now fully functioning. I'll just flick that off because I'm not going to need that. Well, I say I'm not. Who knows? And that's just winding down. I'll take a little look now and see what wood I've got just to box in that cabinet. But to be fair, there's more noise outside than there is inside. The biggest noise really is that exhaust pipe, which now thankfully is outside. You can probably see on the plastic sheeting at the bottom the condensation, at the top the condensation, but not in the middle. But it's not even in the least bit hot, so I don't think I need to worry about that too much. I will keep my eye on it just in case, but I think that's a job done for the diesel heater. Well, That's the diesel heater done, thank God. It was, as it always is, more complicated and time consuming than I thought. It's 11 o'clock already. I really don't know where the day goes. I'm just letting the wood burner go out. It's cool, but it's not cold. Certainly don't need the diesel heater running. I will box in that cabinet. I just need to find a piece of wood that's suitable size. I don't want painting, of course. But I've got myself a bag of crisps. McCoy's Ridge Cut Flame Grilled flavour. Bit of beef. Battery is just on the floor, ready to join its friends in the electrical cabinet. Again, that won't be as straightforward as you might think it is. You can't just plug it in and go. I'm going to have to put it in the correct series in the 3 batteries. I'll need to disconnect the solar from the charge controller, because if I disconnect the batteries, the electric's got nowhere to go. But if I disconnect it from the charge controller, the panels will take care of themselves for the duration of the time that I'm under the cabinet. Dismantling the original batteries, slotting the new one in, and then cabling up. I'll try and take some video clips of that. It is difficult because it's inside a cabinet, but you'll get a before and after for sure. But for now, I'm going to enjoy my packet of crisps and my coffee, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later, no doubt. Well, unbelievably, the sun's trying to come out. Can't believe that. Just on the cabin roof. This is the output from the solar panels, the ones that are on the roof now. So I'll just disconnect these. That'll make safe the supply coming into the cabin, and then I can crack on then and install that other battery. I think we are still definitely due some rain. You can see it on the horizon, but yeah, thankfully right now we're actually getting a bit of sunshine. It is cool though, I have to say. I left my hat in the cabin and I can feel it on the neck. So I'll get these disconnected and get myself back inside. Well, first things first, I'm just popping these clamps onto the new battery. I'll get these on and tightened up, and then I'm ready for a quick connection. I don't want really to disconnect the existing batteries for too long. I'm conscious that we're not getting that much daylight, and I need as much solar going into them as I can. And this, although it is charged, it will have dropped a little bit while it's been in storage, and I want to get that charging as soon as I can as well. I've just popped the new battery in, and clearly everything is still connected to the old system, so I need to rearrange the existing connections from the centre battery onto the new battery at the end. So that's going to be a little bit fiddly because there's quite a lot going on there, but essentially all I'm going to do is connect the new battery to the existing, so I've got the 3 running in parallel, and I'll just shuffle the wiring. The idea really is that you go from corner to corner across the batteries, so I'm going to have to take the connections off the centre battery and drop them onto this end battery. Bit of a faff, but it's worthwhile in the end. I've got another 110 amps of storage capacity, or I will have when I'm finished. Well, that's the new battery fully connected. We've got solar coming in, or it will be when I plug it back in again, feeding from that far corner negative to this far corner positive. Then all the electrics out from the batteries, all the negatives come out of this terminal here, again cross to the far terminal for the positives, and then we've got just direct loops from one battery to the next for the negative, and the same loop again for the positive. So that's the batteries connected up. Let's take a little look. So battery showing 12.5 and load coming out, which is the Wi-Fi. I'm going to have to reset that now because I've lost the power. Can't see it, if it's connecting or not. Yeah, it is now. So that's the Wi-Fi hooking itself back up again, so that I've got connection for the cameras. All I need to do now is pop outside and connect the panels up. So we're back outside again. All I need to do now is connect these two cables, and then that'll put the solar back on inside the cabin. So Wi-Fi's turned green, which is great. I've just tested the CCTV and I've got connections on all three cameras, so that's good. But more importantly, charge controller, you can now see, I'm hoping you can, the little panel symbol with the flashing arrow, which tells me it's charging into the battery bank. And I've got 12.6 volts currently in the battery bank. And of course another little arrow out to that little light bulb symbol, which just indicates draw on power, which is the Wi-Fi connection. So, job done. Extra battery installed. I'll have a little think now about where I'm going to put the extra panel. I suspect the cables that are on the existing panels are not going to be long enough. I'm going to need an extender, but until I lift them up and have a look, I won't know. Well, that little ray of sunshine didn't last very long. The clouds are all moving in and the wind's picking up again. I'm just looking on this roof to see where I can mount another support batten for the additional panel. I've had a bit of a rummage round in the wood pile and I have found some wood, so that's good. Just going to measure that up and cut it. It is going to want painting though, as everything does. But if I can at least get that mounted on the roof, and I can drill the panel, the new panel. You'll remember from the last ones I put these little mounting brackets on, so you've got to drill through the metal framework of the panel. I can at least get the panel ready for mounting. You never know, wood might be dry by tomorrow, we'll see. Well, I've got myself a piece of wood cut to size, and I'm just giving it a coat of this red paint that I used for the original floor of the cabin, just to give it a bit of protection when it's on the roof. I am tempted, because I have got a full can of this still, I am tempted to paint that new floor in the cabin at some point. That might be a little job over Christmas, who knows? Just to brighten that up a little bit and give it a bit of protection. I don't know, let me know what you think. Paint or not paint? Well, I've been playing with these damned pallet collars for ages, trying to figure out where they'll fit and where they won't. I am going to have to cut them down. So I've got a couple of choices. I could use them as they are and then make some half ones to fit the gaps, or I could dismantle them and use the wood and frame it out to fit kind of more accurately, especially around the paving slabs, which, typical I guess, don't fit. Or not in the size of the pallet collars anyway. So I'm going to just fold those up and pack those away, because I'm going to try and get that solar panel pre-drilled and get the brackets on it before I start to lose the light, because time is, as usual, just flying by. It's scrap wood, but it's boxed in. You know what comes next, don't you? The paintbrush. Well, the rain clouds are moving in again, and it is actually raining. Got a little bit of a rainbow there, look for you. Let me quickly run over there and see if I can find a pot of gold. Yeah, I'm starting to lose the light, so it won't be long before I'm away. Finished off that boxing in of the diesel heater, and just giving that a coat of paint. It'll dry out and I'll give it another one. I did the top while I was on, because that was showing through as it dried off. So I've put the battery back on charge. That'll get a few more hours in here, and of course it will go straight on charge again in the morning. So a little bit more progress. I'm struggling with that solar panel because I can't find the drill small enough, or the drill bit small enough. I'll spend another 5 minutes looking, and if I can't find it, I'll just call it a day today. You have to go really careful with this because it's double skinned, and clearly there's a pane of glass there. One more to do. I have measured these, I'm not just guessing. First skin. Excellent. We'll get some brackets on. So I'm actually bolting through these to put the bracket on. I can't screw them because there's nothing to bite into. It's a double skin as well, so that makes it even trickier. Little washer on the back. It is rather fiddly because there's a lip there, so it's really difficult to get your fingers in behind that lip. Hopefully that's got it. Yeah, it has. So just line that up. And that's it. 3 more to do. Well, lots of brackets on the panels. So they're ready now for mounting on the roof. As soon as I get the wood on there. I have measured up, and the cable is not going to reach, so I do need to get another cable. So unfortunately that's a job that's not going to get done tomorrow. I can get the mounting button on the roof, but that's about as far as the panel will go. But there's no rush, I have it. The batteries have been done, so I'm quite content. Well, that's it for another day. Another cold and wet day. The wind has been really strong as well. It's been quite crazy actually at times, but we've got a few things done, so that's good. I'll be very nice and happy to see the next panel going up. Bit of a shame that can't be done this weekend, because I need that cable, and it's a bit pointless mounting it just to take it off again. But everything's closed up. We're starting to lose the light, so I'll get myself off home, have a shower and get something to eat.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. Very pleased to see the back of that diesel heater job today. I can rest easy now and just flick a switch. No need to light the fire if I don't want to. What about that cabin floor? Do you think I should paint it with that red floor paint, or should I leave it as it is? Let me know in the comment section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.